Britt Johnson. We are prime time for Monday Night Football this week, which is very fitting considering we are taking on NFC East rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. This will be the first head-to-head contest between Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Prescott missed both matchups last season against the Eagles.
How can you not respect their D-line? You know what I'm saying? They got a bunch of monsters on there, but I'm excited. You know, we saw them 2 times last year. This 2 times this year, I'm looking for that revenge. So.
That's good because you saw them that, unlike Charlie, you haven't seen them. You've heard most of them. This is good for you.
Yeah, we're more familiar with them, so it kind of makes it exciting to get to see the same guys again and go against them. But yeah, I'm excited for sure.
How do you, I know you haven't had much of a time to go deep dive this week with them with a crazy schedule and Monday night, but they got to put Graham on.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
How do you anticipate that may change things from their perspective?
They got some depth at the end, and they got a guy they're gonna throw in there. Of course, Graham's like a huge part of their defense and a leader that they're gonna be losing out on, but I feel like they got a decent guy to replace him with. So
when you popped up front, did Dak say what you doing here?
Nah, he didn't say that.
What did Philbin tell you about these 5 games and what he was looking for from you and how they were going to approach it?
I think it's just kind of expected for me to just, just do my job and just do the best way I can. I feel like Coach Philbin has a lot of faith in me. He's told me that many times, and just went out there and proved it to him.
Don't draft the guys that it's here. This swing tackle will cut you, go somewhere else. But you're here second year. Do you feel like, hey, this is a home, or are you still like, I don't know yet?
No, this is 100% home. I love Dallas. Everything about this fan base, this organization, I love, and I don't want to leave here. And every day I come to work with that passion to stay here and not leave. So, yeah. No, I love it here for sure.
Terrence Steele impressed in week 2 at right tackle against one of the best pass rushers in the game, Joey Bosa. But is he our new guy? Well, me and my co-host did not agree.
I just thought he did an excellent job of mixing up and having the balance, and the opponent was different, and he came up with a different game plan. So to me, I got to give Kellen Moore 2 thumbs up for what he's done so far in these 2 games. He's put the Cowboys in the position offensively I think they needed to be.
No, listen, there's no break for my man Steele now, okay? he got some doubts.
Graham's out. Graham's out.
He's out?
Yeah, Graham is out.
Oh,
Graham
man,
is out.
okay. Well, I love it then. Shout out
he
to you Steele, baby.
He might have a chance out there.
Yeah, I still want you to drink your protein shake and do all that, make sure everything is right. But it looks better. It looks a lot better with Graham being out because he was playing well.
Let me ask y'all this real quick because I know we're running out of time. Let's just say Steele puts together 4 or 5 excellent displays. No pressures, no sacks.
No. I'm just
There's not a chance?
No.
No chance at all?
Right now, no.
All right.
No.
Danny?
I say yes.
Britt?
Yes.
Britt, you say
because
yes?
I think when something's going well, you don't need to mess it up. Don't change it. I don't care if Collins comes back. If something's working right now, let's keep that because we could lose Collins again. Something else could happen. He could get another test, some issue. I say if it's going well, let's keep it going.
Yeah, I'm going to go back with LC just because he was playing well before he, got suspended, and he is making the big bucks. So I think they're still going to give him that shot to get back in the game and have Steele as a swing tackle because now they know that they have reliable swing tackle.
And the thing that you have with Collins is you've got an ability to let him play more one-on-one. You don't have to give him the kind of help that you have to give Steele. Okay. So that's why you're going to go back to Collins because it'll give Kellen Moore more options in his offense. Now, after the season, there's a whole new different kind of conversation going on there. But during the season, I mean, that's your guy.
Will Micah Parsons play defensive end or linebacker in week 3? We hear from Dan Quinn next.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from week 1 to the Super Bowl. This segment is brought to you by Ashley Home Store, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The defense has been shaken up early this season thanks to injuries and COVID. These things have resulted in defensive coordinator Dan Quinn making the decision to utilize rookie linebacker Micah Parsons as a pass rusher last week against the Chargers. Parsons played so well at defensive end, some are wondering, should we see him in the lineup at DN against the Eagles this week?
What I said about Mike, certainly he could rush. He knew he had the rush ability, but play full-time defense end first time in high school.
Right.
And to do it midweek.
Yeah, I'd say I'm hard on him, and because I have a lot of belief and trust in him. I would not have asked him to do that if I didn't think he was ready to do it. And this is the best thing for us to go win this game. And so he said, okay, I'm down, I'm into it. And so that's, to me, I wouldn't have even considered it had I not thought he could handle it. I've seen him what he's done on the edge, and so doing it all the time is different than just doing it on third downs or in some 2 minutes. So there's a lot of other factors that go into it because, quite honestly, he's never done some of the pressures and anything as a defensive end. That he knows him at linebacker, but he didn't know him in that space. But he's a quick study, and like I said, I got high standards for him to make sure he hits the mark, and he certainly did. I anticipated some errors, and there's actually less than what I thought heading in.
How much he's rushing using his hands? How much is that he's learning from Let and Lawrence, maybe even yourself, and AD about just using your hands to get to the quarterback?
Yeah, I think that's already been part of his process. So it wasn't like he hasn't been working on the end of the line. You guys saw during training camp where we were working together and into the season. So he comes down to get pass rush work on a regular basis. But Tank has definitely been somebody that's had a good effect on him. I know he spent time with DeMarcus. That certainly helped, and we're with him on a regular basis. But like I said, I was proud of him. Like I said, I'm tough on him. I got high standards for him because of where I think he can get to, and so we'll continue to push him. And he's still developing as a linebacker too. So you don't want to give him so many things that like let's settle down and focus on things that he does really well.
Man, so well, 3 days work at the end and have such an impact. You find yourself maybe we should keep him there. I mean, I don't know which position has the most impact for your team, but as a rusher, he was special as you saw.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job, and that'll continue to be part of what he does. But there's also some really good linebacker things that he does, and so we're going to make sure we don't overload him, but get him the right amount that he needs. And I think that's an important piece to that. If I ever feel like I'm pushing him over the edge of volume or anything, that we back off. But he was definitely chomping at the bit for more in the game, which is a good thing. That's what you want from guys.
Was there something that you learned about him in the pre-draft process that he could handle a whole bunch of things? When did you kind of get into
Not yet to go through it, I think, here. And so, okay, I tried him in, when we got here together in OTAs and did some things. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see what that looks like. So I would say it was more of a byproduct of all the time that we had spent together. So that's why I really had very little hesitation to say, hey, this is, I know, a job that you can get done this week, and this is the best way for us to go win. And he was down for it.
Effort and energy is the identity of this defense this season. Terrell Basham isn't only a D-end and comedian, which we learned on Hard Knocks, but he's also all about the energy.
So my whole thing with energy, and like I feel like I'm just like a study of energy. I study people's energy. I study my own energy, and I feel like energy is everything, and it makes a huge difference in our lives. Not just in sports, in our lives. And one thing that I tell a lot of young people, like my younger cousins, my family members who I see struggling, is continue to have the energy for the things that the other people don't have, because it's going to take you somewhere that they're not going, and that's why I tell them every day, like, my energy is always going to be the same. Every day I wake up, my energy is always going to be the same. Only thing that can ever change is the location that my energy is brought to, but my energy will always be the same.
You don't have down day? You don't wake up and say, well, I'm not feeling it today, I'm going to have to push harder?
I definitely do. But if I don't have the energy to push through that, I mean, that's the easiest thing to push through, is not feeling like it. There's real obstacles that come up in life, that you have to face. I have a daughter. One thing that in the past couple years with raising my daughter, I've been having to, I find myself growing and maturing as well with my child, you know. Like I brush my teeth twice a day now, you know, not just in the morning when I wake up. I gotta brush them at night too. I gotta brush them with her at night.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, you know. Like hygiene's a big thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and those are things that, like, as a man, as an athlete, it's easy to not have the energy for, you know, just, I'm just play video games and chill. I'm not gonna do nothing. Nah, it's cool. I just wear the same clothes I wore yesterday. Forget it. You know, it's easy to do that type of stuff. But you know what I'm saying? But when you lead by example, you're raising a little girl, you know, it's different. It's different. So, like I said, my energy has got to be different, you know. I got to get through the whole I don't feel like. The whole I don't feel like, that's the last thing that's going to stop me, is I don't feel like doing something.
So at training camp, we did this bit where we asked all the guys as they were coming off the field from practice, who's the biggest hype man on the team? Mm-hmm. And two names kept coming up over and over and over. One really, I didn't know you that well. So your name kept coming up, and one that really surprised me was Lyle Collins.
LC. Yeah.
So what do you do to motivate the guys? Why did everybody say you were one of the biggest hype men on the team?
Because, like I said, I'm a reader of energy, you know. So if I feel like the energy is just mellow at a time where it needs to be high, let's get it there.
Bring it up.
Let's dance. Let's yell, you know. Let's hype one another up.
What play almost cost us the game against the Chargers, and why was it made? Well, stay tuned for the answers.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley Home Store, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Risk versus reward is the name of the game in the NFL, and unfortunately, a controversial play on special teams has sparked some concern.
We got to talk about special teams. John Fossil said something in his press conference yesterday that made me raise my eyebrows, and I'm sure it probably did for a lot of people out there. When asked about the decision to what their decision was as far as a situation where the Cowboys went and got called for roughing the kicker on a punt, his response was, and I'll read it, and this was the quote, he says, "I think Cowboys fans aren't the play it safe type. I was going to give them what they wanted. Hope they are happy."
They're not happy.
But let's slow down just a bit. I kind of want to take it back first and explain, like, what happened on that play. What did he say happened? What was the decision, and how did they get to that point of even having guys that end up rolling into the punter?
I think it goes way back before that. This guy wants to be involved with everything. Okay, he does not. This isn't the third phase of it. He wants to be involved. Let's look at him at training camp. He's got the referee shirt on. He's got the whistle. He's got a mic. He's yelling. He wants to be aggressive. Let's fake punts and all this stuff. He can't just sit there and just let the game go to him. He's trying to dictate the game, and I think Mike McCarthy they give him a little too much leeway on it. There's no reason to rush the punt right there. Yes, you could block it, but the way Dak and them are moving the ball, they can move the ball. Don't take the ball out of Dak's hands. He's the best player on the team right now. So that was just like Dave said yesterday. Risk reward. It's not there. Did they kind of block him into it? Maybe, but that's not a reviewable play. You know, Dave said all this yesterday, and I totally agree. That ref is looking. Does the punter get hurt? Does he get hit? A. B, does he go to the ground? Yes. Wow, that's 15 yards. No doubt about it.
That's all they care about. It's the same. And if a guy comes anywhere near a quarterback below the knee, the same flag's going to fly regardless.
Or above the neck.
And guess what? You can get thrown into the quarterback by his offensive tackle, and the refs don't care.
And they'll block a punt this year. They'll block a punt.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
They haven't done it in years.
Well, I mean, if they're rushing like this, I mean, they probably will. They'll block one. But is it going to be worth it at the end of the day?
Well, I guess that was the fault of the fans. Anyways, moving on. Super Bowl champ Isaiah Stanback exposes the Eagles' defense when we return. You don't want to miss this. Welcome back. With first place in the NFC potentially on the line this week, let's head to film room to break down this Eagles defense.
The Cowboys have a divisional opponent for the first time this season, and we got a good chance to see a lot of what the Eagles could do well against San Francisco last week.
Absolutely. Obviously, with Philadelphia, this is going to be a battle of the NFC East. So we got to bring our A game. These guys have their weapons on the offensive side of the ball in the form of Jalen Hurts and their new draft pick Smith. But also defensively, these guys have some boys as well, and we have to be aware of it. But let's go ahead and take a look at what happened last week against San Francisco. Now, how can we exploit the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, they want to run a single high defense. What does that mean? That means that they want to put a safety way back here, okay? And then at the second level, they want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys underneath. Okay, so where can you find seams at in this defense? Let me see here. Somewhere between here and there, right? All the way in the seams. This is where we want to attack these guys, and we have to get past their second level defenders. So let's take a look here and see what San Francisco does against these guys to try to attack these seams. Get the snap of the ball, bam, right there, freeze frame it. As soon as Dak Prescott sees our receivers or tight ends get on the toes of these second level defenders, boom, 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 boom. Right, as soon as they get on those guys' toes right here, that's when you want to release the ball. Reason being, if his hips are square, his eyes are in the backfield, okay, that's when you want to release the ball. Finding the seam right behind them, as you see right here, Deebo Samuel, why thank you. And he takes that thing all the way down the field. Big playability as long as we can find those seams in this defense. And
that's exactly what a guy like CeeDee Lamb could do for your offense. You try and get underneath the defense, get to that second level, and then find some space out there.
The magic number is 4, but not just because it's Dak Prescott's jersey number, but this will be the league's 4th best total offense, the Dallas Cowboys, going against the 4th best total defense with the Eagles. Sounds like the perfect match or makings of a perfect rivalry. Coming next, find out what former Dallas Cowboys player is on Survivor Season 41. Danny Mcrae is the 4th former Cowboy to join the Survivor cast. I interviewed him earlier this week prior to the premiere. What do you think your strength was going into this season?
I would say being able to manage the locker room how I did when I played. So I was actually voted captain by my peers, and just being able to be on special teams and work with people on offense, work with people on defense, people to make a lot of money, people to make a little money, and get them to listen to what you're saying and buy in and gaining their respect. Being able to take that out to the island, I would say, I would consider that one of my strengths.
That's interesting because I thought you were going to say something physical, like I could run faster than everybody. But this part of, Survivor, just like football, it's a lot mental as well as physical. What was more difficult for you, the mental side or the physical side?
I think I would say mental, because what happens is you're used to this comfort, right? And especially us being in a pandemic. So I was around my wife every day, 24 hours a day. I was around my kid, had a phone, had TV, comfortable bed. Then you go out there and you're stripped of all of that, right? So you have to find out a way to process that and continue to move forward. And that was difficult. I think the physical part, I knew what that was going to be. You don't win any challenges by being bigger, faster, or stronger, because they want to make it fair for women, men, older and younger. So that was kind of more of a pain tolerance type of thing, just based off what I've seen from past seasons.
So you've done both. What is more difficult, the NFL or Survivor? Everybody wants to know this one.
I will say this: the NFL to me was a lot tougher, just because of all that it entails. Right? It's like when you go on Survivor, you're away from your family, your friends. It's really just you trying to concentrate on the game. Being in the NFL, making the team, being a free agent, having to worry every single day for 6 years if you're going to be
still
on
about
that roster,
life as well.
Right? And then then your family and finances and all that is just it takes a lot.
Well, there are 18 contestants on the season, and I'm excited because this season is actually the most diverse season they've had. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So CBS now has a mandate where on their reality TV shows, 50% of the cast has to be people of color. So this is the first season of Survivor where that mandate is in effect. So you will see the most diverse cast.
And of course, it is time for our Caption That this week. This photo is our Caption That picture. This fan actually won. He had the best response. Darren Marker said, I can't figure out which of you two to start in my fantasy. Both of them have been killing it on the field. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Cowboys Rewind. I'm Britt Johnson, and I will see you guys next time.
Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T, SWBC Mortgage. Join the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit SWBCMortgage.com to find a pro today. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.